Hello, good morning. Friedrich Nietzsche is a force of nature. Friedrich Nietzsche is super dense information. Friedrich Nietzsche is like a sun, like a star that is, collapsing under its own density, therefore emanating and burning everything around him to ashes. He is philosophizing with a hammer. He shatters and shakes the foundations. Nietzsche is hard to access. It's an inaccessible jungle. Thorns, mountains, cold wind, fires. Is not easy to access. But Nietzsche has also gentle and loving ways, but a little bit hidden. Why is Nietzsche rather emanating, rather radiating? Why is he looking so far, almost limitless in the way he looks? The point of views, they are breathtaking, they are scary. His views is because he has no finished thoughts, he has no tamed models, he is not creating new concepts, he is destroying concepts. He is making space for forces of nature. He is a force of nature, and he creates space for libido. And when you know my point of view, you know that destrudo, the death drive, is part of the life drive. I don't see them as antagonists. So we're living in a dualistic world in many aspects, like every living being, or not everyone, but life has two concepts. One of them is sexuality, to multiply, especially for more complex life, and it's for a reason, because life is a decentralized intelligence. The intelligence lies in the collective experience, in the DNA, and lies in the willingness to die, to make space for the better adapted. So, and sexuality helps to mix the right ingredients for the future, sacrificing everything else. So, we have a lot of duality in the world. Again, the genders, and day and night rhythms, the left and the right hemisphere of the brain that has different functions. We can't say the right is the same as the left, the woman is the same as the man. We can't say that. If we say this, you exclude others. If you claim that, you exclude people with an inclusive mindset that have functioning reality testing, and you think you know better, and that's okay, enjoy it. Anyway, so Nietzsche. yeah, we found so a lot of duality in the world, and there is one thing that is central and a source of life in unity, and that is libido and destrudo as one and the same thing. And Nietzsche makes space for that. He sees it. He sees that this universal force of life that needs no explanation, no moral caging, no conceptual right or wrong. It needs no comfort. It needs no justification, and it can move in the present state where so many thinkers and philosophers and politicians and influential people created systems of thinking, of concepts, of absolute concepts, while the source of life is beyond that, is below that, and has the potential to push through beyond that. And this is the way Nietzsche looks at things. He's looking through things. He's not looking at things. He's not creating new, finished, tamed models that somehow replace something or find a niche to exist. Like crafty, moral, like super intellectual, crafty, eloquent philosophers. He does not do this. He does not engage in this. He sees through things and shatters everything in his way. Because he thinks different, he looks different at things. And therefore he had the ability to see hundreds of years in the future. He's still ahead of the understanding of him, of his work today. He has predicted the problems we wrestle with today. And he looked thousands of years back in order to free his mind of the limitations of thinking, because we are circled, we are circled by the thinking concepts of other thinkers, but you can't circle Nietzsche. And Nietzsche made strides for us to see through things. Okay? Therefore, when you read his work, he will trigger you, it will hurt, you will find 1,000 reasons against what he says. It's not right, it's too strong, it's too extreme, it hurts me, it's uncomfortable, yes, all of that, yes. But if you have goodwill, this is, by the way, the underrated, most important ingredient of all communication is goodwill. If you have goodwill and try to understand it and acknowledge and respect that he treated himself worse than his worst enemy, he did everything he does to his reader, to himself first. So he's not a hypocrite. If you understand it, Nietzsche also I need to think a second. Yeah, depending on your own development of your age, therefore, because he is not having finished, tamed thoughts, you always get a completely new perspective on what you read. So he's like I said it, kaleidoscope, like an oracle. And when you read him as a young man or young woman, you're just baffled, you're just overwhelmed with it. When you read it 10 years later, you see complete new aspects of it. When you read it In the mid of your life, with 40, you see complete different point of views from his stuff. When you read it with 6, I think this will never end, because Nietzsche is different. His philosophy is different. Yeah. And I had one more thought about him. I need to capture it. Yeah, one more important thing about him is we 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 never really can put him in a category. Okay, most people think he's a philosopher, but if you read him in his mother tongue and you have an idea about what poetry really is, um, a musical feeling for rhythm and melody, and the etymology and the philologic weight and density of a single word. This is how Nietzsche works. Nietzsche is a philologist in the first place. He's a poet in the second place, and he's a philosopher just in the third place. And he uses all of these tools to give density and weight to his work. He said, I am not a human being, I am dynamite. And that's what he is.